Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us on Let's Talk Politics on Ubuntu channel. Remember, this is the program for you if you love politics and are keen to know exactly what is happening in the world of politics, that is locally. Thank you so much once again that you have tuned in and you are watching Ubuntu channel, streaming to you live on Facebook, on X, and of course on YouTube. And please remember, you are free to participate in our interactions by just dropping a comment, dropping whatever is on your mind, and let us know, share it with us on the comment sections of whatever social media platform you are watching us from. Now, here is the gist of today's program. Yesterday, the headlines on from news diggers was talking about the vice president telling us that UPND will be in power for 50 years. And just to quote something from the news diggers, where she was reminding the opposition that the opposition is just not for opposition. So she was telling the opposition to keep quiet because they don't want to praise. But when it is true, things are happening, they should praise. But if possible, praise so that people can see exactly what is happening good, because you want a very stable country, even where people can see. I'm sure when you come in after 50 years, you want to find a very stable government because we are in power for the next 50 years. Those are the words from the vice president when she was responding to some questions in parliament. Well, I'm not alone on this program. I have my co-host CJ. CJ, thank you so much for being part of the program.
Good evening, Lawrence. Good evening, viewers. Actually, it's an exciting Tuesday, and topic lero. Yeah. Tieni nayo.
Looking at 50 years, 50 years, 50 years. We only have done quite a couple of years with them, and they are saying 50 years
50.
is what they will do. I don't know, probably 5 different presidents will look at 2-year terms and the like. I'm not sure, but helping us discuss this program, this matter, we also have Mukelabai. Mukelabai, good evening, and thank you so much for joining us on Let's Talk Politics.
Thank you so much. Good evening, Lawrence. Good evening, CJ. Good to see you. I don't know what has made you happy. You look happy. I don't know whether it's to thank your significant other for having made you happy, or it is the statement of the vice president. I have no idea. We'll find out.
That's to clarify. Actually, my significant other and myself today are celebrating 3 years of marriage, and probably that is what is
I
causing that
see.
happening.
I see the blushing. Yes, so I saw it already.
Congratulations.
Congratulations! Happy anniversary!
So much.
3 years. At least you haven't. Now imagine that 3 years, then we start telling you that you have not performed anything. You haven't done anything.
I
And
would be
then
very offended.
we are even curtailing you to say your 3 years anniversary yanuyo kulipe pamene mwachita so na chikondi chanu kuone kati kulibe. Are you going to agree?
No.
So uzakambati bwanji ni for better for worse and for muyayaya tefu.
Yeah, exactly.
Now you understand. That's the position of the vice president.
Let's get into it then. First and foremost, 50 years. We are looking at how many presidents? Roughly about 5 presidents serving 2 terms each. Before we can even go into that, let's also welcome Himba to the program. Himba, good evening, and thank you so much for being part of the program.
Thank you so much, Lawrence. Good evening and good evening, viewers. It's nice to see Mukelabai is smiling. Mukelabai mzuri chani.
Luzuire hande vomusalaka muchwani minaku kwa mangalande.
Nisha. CJ, good evening and good evening, viewers. It's nice to be with you. It has been long when we had interacted on this program. I'm so happy and I'm just excited and hoping to have a very exciting time with the boys.
Why are you not saying? Why are you not speaking
It's
the Chinese language with the CJ? The it, the iha iha. Tonga is like kung fu. Iha.
Mukelabai, behave.
uh, Himba, you are welcome. It's great to have you after a long time, and we're looking forward to having an excellent program. So,
Okay,
okay.
let's get into it now, CJ. I think we are full of us now and we are ready to digest this one. Mukelabai, I was asking you earlier on to say, looking at the constitution of Zambia, it's 5 years per term and not more than 2 terms for each person that comes through. So we are looking at UPND giving us roughly about 5 presidents in a row: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, each of them serving 10 years in power. How feasible is that?
Well, it's feasible if they are going to perform, and it is not up to the UPND to decide. It is the people. We are in a democratic dispensation, and the people, when they are satisfied with the services being provided for by the government, and if they see to it that this government really means well, and of course challenges will be there, but you see that they have a heart for the country, then people will continue vote. If it means voting for them for the next 100 years, then so be it. That's what democracy is all about. And so we cannot simply dictate. The reason why Vice President alluded to that, sometimes we are human beings. We have to understand that sometimes we get irritated, when someone is trying to do something good for the nation. Then we have people that are busy pulling you down. And instead of new people with new ideas that's supposed to pull you down or disputing, you find that the people that are doing that are the people that have been in the system and destroyed what this current government is trying to fix. And to that, the vice president cannot get a whip and go and start whipping them, because she has to follow the law, and we cannot speed up the cases that are already in court to say, can you please find these people guilty? They have money. There are cases that are going to be postponed, the adjournment and other things. So sometimes it is frustrating to see the people that actually that are the reason behind what is currently taking place, to see them on the mountaintop shouting. So somehow I believe the vice president, she may have come out like that, bearing in mind that we are in a democratic dispensation. She simply got a little bit frustrated, because it's the people that decide, not the UPND. If the people decide to put UPND for 50 years, then so be it. There's nothing we can do. And so her statement, she's been optimistic. We should also learn to appreciate people that are being optimistic. So we should optimistic, because there are people that are telling the very government that this government is just for one term. No, this government, if anything, others are even talking of impeachment. No, others are even talking of coup d'etats, insinuating of coup d'etats. So you see that there's a lot of hate from the other side, and we cannot even run the program talking about them. But the sooner the vice president also decides to exercise her opinion, to say, hey guys, I'm being optimistic. We are going to be here for the next 50 years, because she has seen that the opposition that is there, they are the same people that the Zambian rejected. so kuti mulefu okukwekera shani kumalushi takuli buleisa na mano. The same people, same guys who are faced with criminal cases, they are the chap who are busy trying to naralanda film nachafo kolanda michira
Okay.
ukwimya
Before
my
we even
apologies.
let's look at the political history of this country. So far as things stand, the longest serving political party remains the United National Independence Party, which is UNIP, with the late Dr. Kaunda leading the party and serving for 27 years from independence up to 1991. Now, part of the reasons why one can actually argue to say part of the reasons why they even lasted for 27 years is because we had a one-party kind of arrangement in the middle of everything there. If that was not even in place, probably they would have lasted way less than that. But is it not being too much or over optimistic to think of 50 years?
Are you directing to me? Because I know my colleague, she's there. She may have
No, I'm still
burning.
with you. Still with you.
You're
Himba
still
will
with
come.
me? Okay.
Yeah.
No, people should be allowed to aim high in life, and nobody should start criticizing. She has not broken any law. When she says we are here for 50 years, if anything, she could have simply said 100 years. Were they going to be happy if she said we are here for just 2 years? So we can see, you see that it's her prerogative to use the word for as long as does not hinges on or violate the democratic principles of our nation. They can say Valewelelapo, but you don't know that Valewelelapo because the Zambian people had decided, they rejected this person, and then you want to force people to say Mulewelelapo. Yeah, you can say it. You are at liberty to say Alewelelapo, but in a democratic dispensation society, well, it is the people, like I said earlier, I'll still repeat myself, it is the people at the end of the day that has the final say. The PF claimed they were going to get power, they were going to continue being in power, but the people, the majority, 2.8, decided, 1 million decided otherwise. So the vice president, she can say what she wants. She's been, like I said, optimistic and positive. That's what we call positive thinking. So we should appreciate.
Yeah. All right.
So
Thank you.
we can stay for another 50 years.
Mhm.
We have no problem. That is for as long as the government in place is being democratically elected, then we can stay in office.
Okay. Thank you, Mukelabai. Let me put Himba on the spot. 50 years. How feasible is this? Already, for example, Lawrence has said we are looking at 5 presidents that is serving a maximum of 10 years. And is UPND up to this task? And we are seeing the opposition also pushing hard, especially with the high cost of living that we've seen, the fuel and the mini meal, which is the mini meal and the fuel, which is what they've been riding on even in Parliament. Himba, I want your input here.
Thank you so much, CJ. It's actually 100 years. Kange, we've got the capacity. People are there. The UPND has the capacity
Really?
Uh, yes, the UPND has capable
Mm.
men and women to lead this nation in the right direction. So when she said, "Kange PF vakamvirati," the president is going, the UPND is going to be in power for 50 years. No, what she means, after 10 years, there will be another president from the UPND. Again, after 10 years, there will be another president from the UPND. And the UPND has the capacity to produce presidents. So ngabeve bashusha, it's not like them ba PF ndaba balibe capable leaders. Even now they are struggling to put a leader. They don't have a leader to lead them. So they think what is happening in their party is what is going to happen to other parties. No. There's no opposition in Zambia at the moment. Because the opposition we have, they are not issue-based debaters. They are bringing personal
Yeah,
issues. They are bringing
they're
issues.
mediocre.
They want to tell us about growth. That's not what we want to hear. We want to hear what they'll do for the Zambian people. So they need to come up with capable leaders, because the opposition doesn't even understand the capacity of their voters. Wanafuluma Zambians, there are people whom they can push center, left, right. They don't even know that the Zambian people now, they know what they want and the kind of leaders they want. That's why they're even saying to Lapo, because they think they're dealing with the odd type of voters. The voters we have now, they are different voters who are intelligent, issue based, they research, they understand. Even now, even if the opposition pushes a narrative that the UPND is doing nothing, believe me, if you talk to the people on the ground, most of them, they are saying, Twali chula, we have peace in the markets. In the markets, when somebody believes that if you commit an offense in a market, you are going to pay to the council and you are also going to pay to the PF commander. So you have to pay to two people. If you offense, you have to pay 500 to the council, which means to the PF commander, you have to pay a 300 or a 200. They are saying the markets, those things are no longer happening and they are at peace. So, apaturemo napalika 100 years anyway. I rest my case.
50 years, 50 years as things stand, Madam Himba, as things stand, what even necessitated this response from the vice president is when a couple of opposition members of parliament were actually questioning the government on what exactly they are doing on the prices, on the cost of living, actually. And uh, in the same newspaper, if you look at if you look at the headline, I don't know if the producer can still bring back that newspaper and give us the headline. There is somewhere where the PF actually are bragging to say a lot of people miss us because we provided cheaper meal for them.
Yeah.
Lawrence, no one is missing the PF. They are there. It's them who is missing us. But we have to let them know that we don't miss them at all. There's nothing we miss from them. Nothing.
Actually, you can see the headline there in green, which says we are remembered for cheap meal and fuel.
PF.
Bakazika
That
kuno
coming from the current the new PF Secretary General, that's Mr. Raphael Nakachinda. He's the one who issued those sentiments, and this is exactly what these are the things that the opposition members of parliament were questioning the vice president, and she ended up saying that we are here for 50 years.
we are here to stay.
All right. Mukelabai. Now, right on the same issue that Lawrence has brought up. For example, fuel. Okay, we have no control over fuel, but we're seeing it going up, and usually prices of things don't go down. Even when we come to the meal, mitengo sisi mabwelera. Do you see these things? Do you see meal and fuel next year coming down? Because these are the major things that they are riding on, and this is where most of the complaints are coming from. Mukelabai.
Thank you, CJ. The vice president, she sits in the cabinet. These guys, they have plans. They are fixing this problem. And the solutions they are working on is a solution that will stand the test of time. Probably that's where she is even deriving that authority, because she knows how sensitive Zambians can be when it comes to ulutoshi lwa bwali. We know pabwali pena fwema Zambiani teti tulale tutwaipayirapo omuntu.
Five
Okay?
finger.
Yes. But neabeshi banokwishiva, and meanwhile abantu balelanda nti kuli amachushi mu Zambia nakuleta ekipowe balela bokutira ati this this wave that has hit the country with the high price, it is not just in Zambia. It is not just in Zambia, it's all over, especially when fuel is hiked. When fuel is hiked, all commodities, because everything that we are working on, transportation means that prices have been hiked. So meaning when you transport your commodities, your product, you have to put up that cost of expenses on transport. So that's why you find that Novunga, our local production mill has also, the cost has gone a little bit higher because of the fuel. And this fuel is precipitated by the you know what is happening as we go around, that we read in the newspapers or everywhere on the internet. We know what has precipitated, what that has brought this issue of fuel shortage or fuel high prices of fuel. We Zambians are not oil. We don't refinery oil. We don't produce oil. We are a non-oil production country. We simply depend on other countries where we purchase, and we have no say in price control. So, and what currently we are getting in Zambia, the price we are getting in Zambia, it is the price of on the market. If anything, the Zambian people are getting even a little bit lower. But when the PF are busy coming up and making comparison to say, if we were fuel or pay cheap price, look at what they left. Look at what they left.
So
there was a bill.
So Mukelabai. So yeah, one of the issues is that we do not control fuel, just like you said. We don't produce or mine fuel here in Zambia, and if on the international market it goes up, then automatically even for us it will go up. Now, looking at the current trend, and it's likely that fuel might continue going up. Isn't this a problem for UPND? Because people will continue complaining.
Yes. You haven't seen, people are not talking about the efforts that are being seen, that are being done by this current government in trying to mitigate the fuel crisis in the future.
I'll ask you.
We have seen the government making efforts going to Angola. We have seen the government making efforts going to Namibia. We have seen the government making efforts to open Indeni. We have seen the government talking about opening up the pipeline from Tazara pipeline. All these are ways of trying to mitigate this problem, that we as Zambian could have enough fuel instead of us paying so much on fuel, we can cut down on the issues to do with transport. Transportation can, if we acquire our products within a reachable or nearby areas, or where we bring it through our pipeline and refine the oil and turn it into an end product within our country. These are the mitigatory factors that the government is doing, but you will never hear these other people talking about it. What do you hear? No, us, we were selling fuel cheap, but at the expense, they were selling fuel cheaper at the expense of the Zambian people. Today, the Zambian people are paying the price. There was 700 million US dollars. You know, that was the money they were busy claiming to be subsidizing. That money is there. Who is going to pay that money? Who is paying that money? You, the very Zambian people. And who created that? They were lying to you. They were lying to you and me that they were subsidizing the fuel, yet they were busy accumulating a lot of debt on the fuel issue. So what have they done instead? They are the people that have worsened the whole situation. Imagine that 700, if it was still in our coffers, what it could have done to today's issues to do with fuel. We could have invested that money into something that will reduce these other challenges that we are facing. But what do we see? The current government is busy offloading. Their treasury is really, really overloaded. So they are trying to find ways of fixing the problem, the mess. This is where we come in and say, but we are paying the price today because those things that you are selling, there was a huge bill. I am a 30 billion at Redipira, Kunkongole, was created by you.
Let me just bring in Himba. Earlier on, you alluded that UPND is there for Miayaya. And I am forced to question if we still have leaders in UPND, because if we are to zero in on this same fuel issue, the government introduced monthly reviews of fuel prices. That was last year. And when that was done, a lot of people came out to criticize that move and condemn that move. The government was very adamant. The president was very adamant to say this is actually the right way to go. And we saw everybody from the UPND circles talk of MPs who went in full gear trying to justify this move. And just this past week, the president is now looking, seems to have changed his mind and is asking the newly appointed permanent secretary in the Ministry of Energy to actually look for a better alternative, because it looks like it has become a burden. Now, everybody again who was last year telling us how good a move it was and busy in support has again changed gear to come and say no, because we are listening and all that. But don't you think they should have listened at the start? That was last year, and like waiting for things to get to a point where we are right now, and now changing gears because the president has said, and everybody seems to be in agreement every time he says something. Where are the leaders who are coming up?
Lawrence, thank you so much. The answer, Lawrence, to your question is very simple. It's just the same as you've got a patient, you're a doctor, you've got a client who comes to you. You try this medication, it's not working out. And you come to realize that this medication I'm administering to my patient is not working. What do? You look for another alternative. So basically, the government looked for...
I agree with you on that front. But the problem comes in if that patient, one doctor says this is what we are going to do, and all the doctors follow suit and agree, then when the medicine is not working, the treatment is not working, the same doctor comes back and says, no, 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 this one we should actually do it the other way. And all the doctors again come in and agree. Is it that it's only one doctor who is thinking, the others are just following?
No, it's not like that. In each and every team, there's always a leader, Lawrence. So when the president speaks, it doesn't mean that the other leaders don't speak. They've got cabinet meetings, and when they go for cabinet meetings and other meetings, I'm sure they talk about this and they reach a consensus. And only one or two people would come out and communicate to the Zambian people, and other people has to support. It's just the same as the way we are here. We are here. If we come up with a decision as a team here, back in the background, we are not all of us going to come and announce. Maybe we're going to say, okay, CJ, you're going to be the one who's going to announce or communicate to the public. All of us, we back CJ. So I don't think what kind of a government is going to be. The president is speaking something, then the other ministers, president, no. Definitely, before these leaders come out in public, they've already agreed in the background. And they've already said, okay, this is the direction we're going to steer our boat. And if it doesn't work, we'll come back to the drawing board and come up with another alternative. And this issue of fuel and everything, whatever we are going through right now, it will not be a thing that is going to be to be resolved over a short period of time. This is an issue that has to take some time. Even when we talk about the cost of living, chimwachinenechipute, you people, Zambia as a country was in trouble. So chali chipute baleti nechipute. Endinga na ukwate chipute bale kutina tubafumya amafina chila kalipa. And this is the pain we are feeling. You don't benefit there and then. And I'm sure the UPND is working on the long-term solutions, not you're only thinking of today and not tomorrow. No, the UPND are looking of the long-last solutions that are going to benefit each and every Zambian. And that's why people are saying, if you are fast, you want just quick things. That's why because all those things you just want to impress the voters in a short period of time. But as a leader, you should be ready to be condemned, to be called names, as long as you know what you're doing and you're making the right decisions on behalf of your people.
So let me stick with you, Himba. Don't you think these are the notions that are alluding to the fact that let me not say the fact that let me rephrase this one. Don't you think these kind of things are what are leading to assertions in the general public, which allude to suggest that UPND only has one leader, and it's only the president who is thinking. It's only the president who is actually speaking for the government. It's only the president who is making decisions, even for ministers, and they are all dormant. And now we are looking at 50 years, and 50 years what the vice president said, when even ministers don't seem to be able to make decisions.
But Rollins, lately, we've had the Minister of Information speaking, the PS is speaking. You know, there are sometimes when you trust somebody with power and they don't perform according to their expectations, what do you do? The reshuffle has to come in. And this is what happened. And the president is not going to go with a whip in the offices to go and say, no, work. There are other people who even sleep in these offices, even among the ministers, the PS, you know, but the president has to take time and say, okay, I should make the right decision, you know. So if you look at, even in these government offices we are talking about, there was chipante, there was no system in the past. One of the things the government workers likes, or the civil servant, is a cup of tea. They go for tea for 2 hours, for 3 hours. So if people are behaving like that, you're not going to blame the president for not performing. The president will only motivate, give directive if people are not doing it, and he will not be in each and every office with a whip. The only thing the president can do is to do the reshuffles, which he did. If the other ministers are not communicating, are not doing anything, we are going to blame the president if he's just seated and he's not doing anything about it. But lately, we are seeing the reshuffles. We know the Ministry of Information, which is the which goes between the people and the government. There was a bit of they relaxed, but the president has come in and has done the reshuffles. So we are here waiting to see what the other team is doing. But lately, if you could see even the director of information, Henry Kapata, he's out there speaking. It's not only the president who is speaking. He's actually communicating, giving numbers and giving information to the public. So it's either you hear or you don't hear. But I'm saying we are in the right direction. We are safe with the UPND government.
Okay, let me just ask CJ to just read out the comments that are in that have come in, so we can try and engage the viewers as we continue with the program.
Right, thanks, Lawrence. So Eugene Mbewe says, "Continue lies yourself." I think that was supposed to be "continue lying to yourself." Yeah, Chizongwich. All right, and then we do have Brandon Mulenga saying, "Politicians in Zambia needs not to take Zambians for granted. The promises which were made and the direction they are taking us is totally different. Even PF used to say that they will be there forever. Where are they today? Kambwidi is known for saying it's global." Okay. Okay, these are the submissions we have for now. Now, riding on what Lawrence said, most of the parties in Zambia are kind of personalized parties. Okay, when we talk about UNIP, it was centered on Dr. Kaunda. Okay, after Dr. Kaunda left office, problems came in. When we come to MMD, Dr. Chuluba managed to bring in Mwanawasa. Then we saw Arabi. Okay, for the PF, it was centered on the late Michael Chilufiasata. Then we saw the former president ECL coming in and the like. But we have this thing where political parties usually as a kind of personalized, they center around one person. And for the UPND, we've had President HH in the seat, I would say, ever since the late Anderson Mazoka was put to rest. Now, aren't we seeing a similar situation in that it seems, just like Lawrence has said, almost everything is centered on the president? Isn't this the same issue even for UPND? Once HH finishes his term, who is going to take up? And usually political parties, we have problems in grooming other people. We're even seeing this, for example, in PF. Up to now, they haven't yet selected a new person. They're still hanging on to ECL. UPND, is there any grooming? Because even in UPND, all we're hearing of is HHHH. Mukelabai, let me pull your leg on this one.
Pull it very careful, else it
will kick you.
Nona muli musem trap na imwe.
No, listen, I am very supportive. I know many Zambians today, we try to always bring in tribal matters, tribalism when it comes to politics. And tribal will never stop. it will continue be there. But it's how we handle ourselves. You know, we want to support the person that we can associate ourselves to. However, that should be the thing of the past. You know, we are in the 21st century and we don't need the politics of tribal. And that's why you find there is a lot of confusion and hate. Other people just hate passionately the other person just because he's coming from the other. You can hear the likes of the Munia Zulu, the way they come out. People from this are not intelligent as we are, putting themselves up there. And so that kind of politics, it is the politics that should never be allowed to exist in Zambia. Right now, that's why we are in this mess, because we were just following the previous regime blindly just because they are from, this is the person, because we are from this part of the region and we need to just support. But look at where they put us through, where they ended us, where we have ended with where we are. Had the PF worked so well for the past 10 years, I don't think this current government would have had any challenges, or we would never even have changed them. But look at what this government found out when they came into power. The only mistake this current government is doing is not to tell people exactly and factual about the things that they inherited. Because people may think, because we are used as Zambians, we are used to be lied to. We have been taken advantage. Yes, I agree with the other writer there who said we politicians do take advantage of us Zambians. And us Zambians, we love it when we see politicians fighting among themselves. We thrive. We would rather not ask real questions. We would rather go into rhetoric or personal character assassination. So that is the kind of politics that we are now trying to bring in Zambia, which is not okay. Now we have a government that is trying to be honest. This government is trying to be honest, okay? In that doing so, they are also found that they are also trying to go back to some of the habits of the previous regime that were not telling the people. They chose to keep quiet. You know, this president is talking. That we should appreciate. We have a president that is communicating to the people. Remember, the previous president was not communicating. He was just acting vigorously, making decisions behind closed doors. The next thing we hear, there's an airplane costing 300 something million US dollars. Before we knew it, we heard, no, there's fire tenders that have been purchased on 1 million each. So when you look at that, there was lack of communication. That took away the trust. That took away the zeal to help and support this current government. Now that we have this current government that came in, UPND has a task ahead of them. Okay, one, they need to first and foremost resolve the liabilities that they found. Right now, this government, all they have done is to simply fix what was destroyed. And it was not just money. It was not just institution. It was also the mindset. The mindset. Hence the cadres. Cadreism. Hence,
Mukelabai,
yes.
let me try and make things easy for you. Do you know who the minister of Lusaka province is?
The minister of Lusaka province.
Yes.
Yes.
what is
I don't. I forgot the name, by the way. I know who he is. Yes,
the minister of Eastern Province?
yes, I know
Hmm.
who they
But you
are.
Lawrence,
can't
Lo-
mention the name.
Lawrence, Lawrence. Those
Yes, yes.
ministers, those ministers you are saying, are they there?
So what are you trying to insinuate? That they are not talking?
When last did you get a statement from the ministers that Lawrence has mentioned? For example,
No, actually, it's a very it's a very it's a very honest question and very
Mhm.
serious concerns. Yeah. So when if you talk about that, yes, if that's the issue that we are not listening, we don't know who the ministers of the provincial ministers for this for Lusaka province and Eastern province, they are not active and they seem to be in hibernation. This is where you guys, the politician, comes in and talk. But the question is, what is it that you want to hear from them about if the Ministry of Information is actively involved in disseminating the information about the government's welfare? Those are not ministers of information, the ones you've just talked about. Those are ministers for their provinces. Are they incompetent? Are they not performing? What are their roles? This is where we should look at the issues in details, not just to question just because we want them to open their mouth. That's why this government is not going to be like the government of Lungu, where every Jim and Jake was opening their mouth. That is what costed their election. When Kambwili came in, started opening their mouth. When what is name Munduvile? When everyone, every Jim and Jake, and whenever they were opening their mouth, they were speaking differently. Someone comes with tribal remarks. Someone comes up with lies. So there was no order. There was total disorder. Now there's a government that is trying to be categorical and give information as it is ought to be done through the Ministry of Information. So to answer your question, my brother, to your concerns, is that if those ministers are not doing anything, if you think they are incompetent, then you can petition. You can petition to say, let those ministers come out. If you want to see them on Facebook and spreading propaganda like you have seen our brothers that are doing in the opposition, this is why I told you in my preamble that Mwema Zambians, you thrive, Pabu Fee. You like comedy, Mulomo. You want somebody, people like Tayari, people like those who are just coming out and speak carelessly without any fact findings or facts. They just open their mouth because they just want to be popular and want likes. These are the people that you want. Unfortunately, this government is not like that. These guys are they are in order. They are performing their duties in an orderly manner. Ministers, they're busy communicating to the nation in their ministries. They are communicating also through the Minister of Information and Broadcasting. What else do you want? You want to see everyone to come and start talking? Broadcasting? No, that's where we are missing it. And the only thing that my concern is that now that we have these other new guys in the Ministry of Information, we just hope and pray that they are going to attack or to arrest this spread of the abuse of social media, where the people are spreading, they're alarming the nation over things that are in control. Without facts, you go and start claiming that there's anger Zambia has not even declared an angry nation, that it is now there's a national disaster, that we should now start asking for ubunga from and chicken and chips from UN. No, we have not reached that part. It is just the prices that have gone up, and we know that this current government is doing everything possible. In the 2 years they've been in office, they are doing everything possible to fix this problem permanently. We just hope, let's cross our fingers that as they have promised that they are going to find a permanent solution to this, hopefully that it comes to pass. It is at the end of the day, you and me, everyone in Zambia that are going to benefit. So my question to you, by opposition, when this problem is sorted out, when this issue of Uwunga, Baxter sorted out, fuel sorted out, and the issue of Madola sorted out, Yawera Punch, what are you going to do? Are you going to start throwing tantrums in parliament? You want to take advantage over something that you are building, you are creating a what? A mountain out of a molehill. So take a nyeni, mwila butukire nsoka, kwikate nsoka kumutwe, yala misuma. So take a nyeni, because this government is trying by all means to fix this problem. At least this government does listen. That's why some of us, we're supporting this government, because we know, we have seen the caliber, we have seen what they are doing, and they listen. Even when they falter, they are the first to come out and apologize that we have taken a wrong. They are human beings, and that is what we want. Not imumwe balefisa. Mwalefisa no bulwele bwabasata belentu balo. You lied to the Zambian people. So that, to me, you cannot trust such people. And you even tell people to say, Ulima mwibala, lila mwibala. You're encouraging people to pilfer, to steal. Honestly, who does that? Tulevako serious. Let's wait and see where this government is going to take us. If they fail, come 2026, we are going to be here telling you, the Zambian people, abama guys aba na bafirwa batupera amarizon tale omfuika tule bafunyapo. But for now, they cannot come out, because we have seen what they have done within 2 years. Despite working under difficult situations with a debt mountain.
Okay. Let me just sorry, cut you short a little bit there. We are still looking at the issue of the insinuation that UPND can go up to 50 years in power. Now, let me just pull your leg also. I write on now how CJ did it. I think he did it well. I didn't see you kick him. But if today President Hakainde Hichilema decided to quit politics, who do you think is the best candidate to take over from him?
Don't worry, my brother, on that one. The UPND, they don't have a lacuna in their administration. They have well-capable members. If anything, we have a lot from the Copper Belt, from the Eastern Province, from Northern Province. We have so many that can take over. And guess what? When one is nominated, people will rally behind that particular individual, because they are supporting the individual and also the manifesto of their party. They are paying allegiance to, not what you see this drama in the opposition, the so-called the biggest opposition. We have so many people. We have the Garing Combos of this world. We have the Minister of Mine. We have We have Omusokotwani, the minister, finance minister. He's capable. We have, including myself. But guess what? We can also, since we're in a democratic dispensation, if we see that one of the opposition, the guy in the opposition, seem to be doing much better, and we see that this person carries the caliber of being the president of the country, I think UPND will be matured enough to say, let us collaborate with this president and support that president and put him into power. I'm talking about a gentleman who is result oriented, who has a heart for the Zambian people. I'm not going to mention his name now, but we can also do that and support such individual. That's how matured this government is. That's why you hear that vice president, Madam Narumango. Actually, she's a running mate. We also have one Narumango as the vice president. We can have the president of the first female president in the country, in Zambia, as a vice president. So we have so many, my dear brother, that can take over from HH. If anything happens to our president, he falls sick, he decides to retire, then we, or answers the God's call, we have so many people capable to take over and to run this country without any malice or wushori. We have Venetabo Kawana. All those people, we have so many, my brother. But we are not going to have a situation where we end up like having 10 candidates fighting over just a party presidents. Arulati, we don't want that. We can simply go for one individual. If we want Paul Kabuswe to be our president of the party, we go for Paul Kabuswe and we give him the mandate and we rally behind him and support him and becomes our president. So we can do that. So we are not running out of, we can't. That's why Madam Vice President told us, yes, they can go for more than 50 years. With this current type of behavior of the opposition that they are exhibiting today, there's no seriousness, Bane. All we see is tantrums. Abantu abakalamba. You've been in parliament for so many years. You start throwing tantrums just because, and you start attacking even the presiding, who is not even a politician. You start attacking an innocent institution because of your tantrums. You want to claim that there's a situation, and in a situation, it is you and your party that created it in the first place. We don't like that kind of behavior.
Our viewers, remember this is Talking Politics, where we discuss the happenings in the political world right here in the country, and this is the Ubuntu channel you're watching us from. Now, just briefly, I think in a nutshell,
Okay, probably connectivity issues right there. However, this is live TV and such things are common. Now, Mukelabai, looking at so far the current situation in the country, what are the things that really give you confidence to say that you have the 50 years in power? 2026 is just, I would say, a year and some months. What are the right things? Have you done anything to give confidence to people that yes, price, milli meal, and the cost of living will go down, because if that trend continues, you know how Zambians are.
When you find a president that is willing to go a mile ahead and invest in education, I promise you that is a milestone. Because when you are investing in education, of course, you are not going to get the dividends immediately, because you need to train, you need to nurture people into, prepare them into the future challenges. When you educate the nation, you are alleviating poverty. You are
But
investing, it is a huge, the biggest investment one can ever do to the country, education. So that is the number one thing. And that is what saw to it that Bokaunda went throughout and continued ruling for that long. Why? Because he gave the Zambian people free education.
Mukelabai, sorry
He
to
invested.
interrupt you on that one. When you're talking about education, in Zambia, we do have a lot of educated people with degrees and all sorts of qualifications, actually home and even abroad. But every time the song that we hear of is, we need foreign investors, we lack capacity for this, we lack capacity for that. Isn't this just an endless circle of education? Because we can't do anything on our own. It's either we're waiting for God, looking at the president, or waiting for an investor for things to change.
It's the same education. My response is education as well. It is education that is playing a pivot role in what you just asked me. The lack of education, lack of manpower, lack of knowledge in many Zambians, lack of the technical know-how on how to operate, how to build tarmacs, how to construct, how to, it is the support also they have to get also from either the government or from themselves. Being entrepreneur minded, what you are business oriented, you have been to school, you have learned something for you to be able to to have your own company that can come and make roads. But look at what we do because of lack of education. Even though we have educated people that you are claiming that we have, yes, but most of them, well, how far have they gone? They are just poor educated people who can't even produce a toothpick, and they would rather
So
go elsewhere. They would rather go to other countries where they find a nation that is full of educated people, because that is what we like, we Africans. We run to the country that invested in education, where the whole nation is well vested and they have so much reserves and they have so much infrastructure. They have good working workmanship. They have development. They're developed because of education. Because if you are not developed, if you are not educated, how do you expect to run the country? How do you expect to have local investors? When you build Muleibama cement, when you are trying to construct the road, to build a road, you put a small thin layer and then you pocket the money. You don't care type. There's the I don't care type of business mindset. Even when you are, so that's why we go to other sources, people who are honest, to go and ask people that have learned, that have the ethics, that follow the ethics, to come and do those jobs for us at a fee. But if we can educate our men and women in Zambia, we will do away with this this dependence syndrome on foreign investors, we can do away with that. But it all starts from somewhere. It should start from somewhere. Like what Bokaunda did, today we have what we have today. It's because of the small fraction of work that the KK did. So what about our future generation? Let's impart this knowledge in the future generation. We educate them so that tomorrow Zambia will be like Dubai. Zambia
So
will be like
Mukelabai,
America.
okay, apart from free education,
Apart from free education, you have freedom of expression, freedom of association. There is no violence today in a country. You are moving freely. Today you can access your benefits because the lifespan in Zambia, it is so short that a man, maybe it's 45, you are dead if you are lucky, you know. And today you are able to access your partial NAPSA withdraw the contribution if you were working and contributing. But in that when the chair over, unfortunately, you cannot access.
you can't.
You
Great.
know, and
Himba,
we have also there's a lot that these guys have achieved within these 2 years. It would be unfair for the Zambian people to simply say because of price ya unga, because of price of mealie meal, and then you want to just look at everything that they have done as nothing, and then that would be very unfair.
Mukelabai, Mukelabai.
Can I finish my point, my brother?
Okay, conclude.
Leken first tuka keva liava ivava onaule chalo. Let us just leave us. Let those chaps be behind. Let's cage them. That's why we are appealing to the prosecutors and the people that are dealing with their cases. Please expedite those cases because they are actually they are getting on our nerves because they are the people on the mountaintop shouting the loudest so that they get sympathy from the people after destroying the nation or putting us in this mess. So otherwise, this government for now, I think given them a time to work without any interferences and encumbrances, this government is going to produce that 50 years that they are anticipating. Thank you.
You know what, Mukelabai? The challenge we have as Zambian people is that we don't appreciate the power of education, and many people think like giving handouts to the young people, the young generation, is the best way to go. Education will make you have engineers, which means development. You not have to go outside the country to bring experts to come and do the job which the Zambian people can do. If the citizens are educated and they are informed, that is one of the indicators of an economy that is doing very well. And there's no way the economy can do well if you have people who can't analyze issues, if you have people who can't even understand issues. You know, that's why we're having people in the past when they've got a conflict, the best way to go, kula sana manaifi, kuipayana. For them, that was the best way to do things because of lack of knowledge, because of lack of understanding. So we went through all those because of such kind of being, having empty tins, you know, they had nothing to do. So when you've educated the nation or the citizen they'll be able to think outside the box, they'll be able to be objective, and they'll be able to contribute in a positive way to the national development. But the challenge we have is that my politicians in our country, they think the Zambian people or the citizen bakupera fyama handouts na bene ama citizen, they're excited, they're dancing. That's what really is costing us. It's another enemy to development, such kind of behavior towards citizen.
You can't behave, you can't develop when you have people, you have leaders. Are we going to be talking about someone's wealth for years and years? No, we can do better, comrades. There's no way every day mukalalanda fye chuma. Fuel yadula. Zambians, they are complaining. Bring solutions to the table. That's what we want to hear. Don't just scream, fuel is high, fuel is high. What solution do you have? Politicians, if we could get heads of each political party and put them in the debate, they can't even debate with each other because they have no information. And even their debate is empty. They don't even understand the real issues which the Zambian people would want to hear. Thank you so much, CJ.
Right. We are now getting into the dying minutes of our show, and we'll be taking concluding submissions. I'll start with you, Mukelabai. 50 years, UPND in power. Is this a reality? Is it a far-fetched dream? What are your concluding submissions?
Well, like I said in my preamble, that the vice president, she is optimistic, and there's nothing wrong with coming up with such kind of mind or being optimistic. She has not broken any law. She has seen, she has faith that she has also done her own research probably, and discover that when she compares to what we currently have, I think the vice president was right to say probably it will take years for the opposition to reach where this current government has reached. It's the bar that has been raised to a level that these guys, even as they politicize today, they are busy exposing their ignorance. Hence the free education that we are talking about. These are chaps who are good at just throwing tantrums, opening up mouths without showing anything that they could bring to the table. And at the same time, being the people that actually created this mess in the first place. Because this issue of minimum we are talking about, and this issue of fuel, yes, despite the international challenges, we know for the fact that locally we messed up our economy ourselves through the people that we had chosen, we had trusted to represent us and to take care of our coffers. They abused the coffers, and today we are paying the big price. And it will take time for us to really recover. This is a wave that has hit us, and we should expect more waves, because what these guys did, and when we were telling the Zambian people to say, Nabona ule chalo, they have stolen money, they have misappropriated money. It was not just because we're saying it because we didn't like them. These are the attributes. These are the effects. What we are currently going through, they are part of the effects of mismanaging our own local economy. We messed up big time, and we are not going to go back to that again. We want the way forward. And right now, UPND is the only party that is giving us a glimpse of hope that at least they are being transparent, categorical, and professional, and they are giving information to us, the Zambian people. And we're able to see so far, within the 2 years that they have been in government, despite them being a baby government, we can tell that they are really doing something towards mitigating these current challenges. So I am positive and optimistic that the future is bright. There's a light at the end of this dark tunnel that we are in. It has never been this dark, and we are getting somewhere.
Thank
so
you,
UPND for
Mukelabai.
now, UPND for now is our only light of hope for now. The rest are
That's
unless
violence.
they play
Thank you very much,
abracadabra.
Mukelabai. Himba, please give us your closing submissions.
Thank you so much, CJ. In all fairness, CJ, if we have to be honest, at the moment, we don't have an opposition leader who can compete with HH. And this is the atmosphere which the opposition has created. You know, what they've done, they've decided to deny the Zambian people with the leaders who are going to do the checks and balances to the government. They've concentrated on singing Warebwere Lapo. You know, they've concentrated up to today. You can't have 2 years the party has no leadership. You know, so what is really happening now? Who is going to challenge HH? Who is going to do the checks and balances to the government? Our opposition don't even understand their responsibility. All they are doing is something else, writing propaganda, coming up with propaganda things which are not real. I would have loved to see the opposition that puts the president on a hot seat, that puts the vice president on a hot seat, not our opposition. They can't even make parliament hot. They can't, because they have no issue-based debate. So basically, for me, at the moment, there's no competitor we have. They are busy singing alebwererapo. Abo abalemba ati balebwererapo balenda ati no balemba ati balemba ati ndebwererapo nali tumpa. You know, that kind of thing. So people are saying they want to bring for them to bring back this leader, they are simply saying they don't have other leaders. And this is a leader who is saying Inena Tumba, and this is the president you want to bring back. So at the moment, we don't have a competitor in Zambia. And if they are competing, not these politicians we have now who can challenge HH. I think the party that is going to challenge the UPND, it's not yet known. I rest my case.
Thank you very much, Himba. Thank you very much, Mukelabai. Lawrence, I've seen you've struggled with connectivity. Please, you can do the honors in winding up the program.
Okay, just to thank everyone who has tuned in to watch us, who has been with us for the past 1 hour and 18 minutes. We've been live. And remember, this is Ubuntu channel. We are live every day at M. So tomorrow, please tune in at 8 p.m. as Lance brings to you. And obviously, we are happy that we had this wonderful interaction. Join us next week as we look at another topic from the world of politics. From us here and everybody else involved in this production, it's a good night, pleasant viewing, and see you next week.